Hello and welcome to another double sleeve video, where today we're looking at the Magic the Gathering Universes Beyond Doctor Who set. What are the products in this set and which ones should you buy? If you like this video, then give it a like, and why not subscribe, because we're going to be doing more of these kinds of videos breaking down new sets and new products so you can get unbiased and helpful information right when you need it. Magic the Gathering have teamed up with a bunch of really exciting intellectual properties. We've already seen the Warhammer 40,000 set, we've seen the Lord of the Rings set, and we're in for some fantastic future intellectual property sets such as Fallout and Final Fantasy. But in a few months, we're going to see Doctor Who. And what is Doctor Who, you may ask? Well, it's a 60-year long running British TV series with somewhat of a cult following. It's a sci-fi style show where a Time Lord known as the Doctor travels throughout space and time, going to all different kinds of places, battling a bunch of different villains and enemies, and trying to basically continue to save the world and the universe. A really cool set of information and neat scenarios that they can turn into super cool cards. If you're new to Magic the Gathering, well, basically it's a trading card game where two people, sometimes more, battle it out to see who's the better deck builder and game player in quite a competitive and really quite intense strategic game. Can be a lot of fun, but is also pretty taxing if you like yourself some strategy. Equally though, it is a very attractive game with lots of really cool art done by amazing artists and has been going for 30 years. So certainly not just a flash in the pan. Now let's go through the products available for this set. Let's start with Collector Boosters. Collector Boosters, if you're not familiar, are the most premium style of pack that Magic the Gathering produces. These are 15 card packs that contain the most beautiful and premium art styles and versions, as well as foiling and often unique ways of picking up certain cards. It is usually the top end price-wise of the products that you can buy, but this is actually the only pack that they are producing in this set. So if you want a randomized chance to pull something really amazing, these are going to be your products. But let's actually break down what could be in a pack. 7 to 14 rare or mythic cards. These are the lowest frequency cards in the set, often, but not always, the most popular and sought after, and the rarity of all the Doctors and Companions will sit within this. 6 or 7 extended art cards. The artwork on MTG cards usually sits within a box on the top half of the card. However, extended art cards will have artwork spanning the entire width of the card, giving a more interesting and often appealing look. 2 showcase TARDIS version cards. The TARDIS version of a card has a unique border style that looks like the outside of the TARDIS itself. In addition, the art style used for the main card artwork is also different, quote, focusing on flashy styles and breathtaking artistry. 12 foil cards. Foil cards, or holographic cards, are identical to their non-foil counterparts in every way except the material treatment used that provides a shiny, reflective finish that most people find superior aesthetically. 3 to 10 Surge foils. Surge foils are a unique style of foiling that has only been used in the previous Universes Beyond cards and provides a ripple-like effect on the foil of the card. And potential serialized cards. Each of the 13 Doctors will have a number of serialized cards equal to 50 plus their Doctor number. So the 10th Doctor will have 510 serialized cards. These are all identical to the foil TARDIS version, except in the bottom left corner of the artwork is an XXX out of 510 box to indicate its uniqueness and incredible scarcity. As you can see, these packs have a huge potential to contain amazing cards, some incredible volume of Surge foils. You could even potentially pull a rare, unique card that there is only 1 of 500-ish. That is brilliant and only can be pulled from these packs. So you may really like a card from the products we're about to talk about that aren't collector boosters, but you want this super special version. The TARDIS showcase version is only available in these collector packs, in which case you're either going to have to crack these packs or buy a single from someone else who's already cracked the packs. Either way, you're going to have to get them from them somehow. So who are these collector boosters for? Well, they're for someone who isn't particularly interested in playing Magic the Gathering. They just want to collect a bunch of cards. Someone who likes the randomness that a pack provides, and who really wants the specialist treatment on their cards, whether that be incredible Surge foiling, the TARDIS version, or a chance to pull that serialized card from one of the Doctors, however unlikely that will be. They're also, if you don't find enough cards out of the other products we're going to talk about, then this is the way you're going to want to open them. Have a bit of fun, open some cards and see what you get. But it's a pretty good product. It is very expensive, so you're going to have to just bear in mind that, yeah, it's not cheap. The second and only other product that Magic the Gathering are producing for their Doctor Who set are a set of Commander decks. And what are Commander decks? Well, Commander is a format within Magic the Gathering, which is a way of playing. It seems to be more of a casual and social format, some will argue, where up to 4 people, I guess you could have more, but it tends to be 4 people, sit around and play against each other. A lot more conversation, the games potentially can last a bit longer, and you use 100 cards in order to play. It creates more potential for randomness and to continue to play that same game over and over again and get a completely different outcome. Almost all of the cards in that 100 card deck are unique, which means there's only one of them within that deck, which means that for a new deck, you're going to have a lot of different cards, potentially in this instance, a lot of different fun Doctor Who cards. So it is potentially a good way of just picking up the cards that you want. So in this set, they've produced 4 separate Commander decks. And why have they done that? Well, they tend to theme each deck around something. And in this set, it's no different. One deck is for all of the Doctors 1 and through 8. One of them is for the Doctors 9 through 11. One of the decks is 12 and 13. And the other one is all the evil baddies. I'll go through each of those in detail now. Just before we go to each of the decks, I'll just run through what each deck is going to contain, so I don't have to do it 4 times. A 100 card deck featuring 2 foil legendary cards and 98 non-foil cards. 10 plane chase cards, each featuring a different place and time in the Doctor Who universe. 10 double-sided tokens. 1 life tracker. 1 deck box made from thin cardboard. 1 sample collector pack containing 2 special alt art cards, including 1 rare or mythic card. So let's get into the first deck. This is called Blast from the Past and is themed around the first 8 Doctors. I think it's universally recognised that this was kind of the first era of Doctor Who. There was somewhat of a break when many people may have thought Doctor Who was over, finished, and so a lot of people will have started watching during that time or will have fond memories of one of those or maybe multiple of those 8 Doctors. For obvious reasons, Magic the Gathering can't use the actors' names when they're describing the cards, and so each of the Doctors will be called the First Doctor, the Second Doctor, the 10th Doctor, etc., rather than Tom Baker or David Tennant. So you're going to see the likenesses on the artwork, but you're not going to see their names written on the cards. So within this deck, we don't have the full deck list, but we know that all 8 Doctors will be in it, and we are told that all companions will be in it too. We have seen some really good cards from this deck already though, and I'll flash them up on screen here, depicting characters, scenes, maybe just very memorable moments from the show during this time period. So definitely a lot of hope that this could be a really cool set, especially if you're into the original old-timey 1960s, 70s, 80s and 90s Doctors. The second deck is called Timey-Wimey. And not only is that really fun to say, but it is for Doctors 9 to 11. And I see as encompassing the kind of regeneration, somewhat poetically, of Doctor Who as a franchise. After their kind of 9-year gap, in 2005, it was brought back as a TV show, and we have 3 Doctors that have really taken it forward. And for many people, possibly even second generation Whovians, this was their first experience of the whole Doctor Who franchise, and so may well be their Doctors. You're going to see David Tennant on the front of this one, sorry, the 10th Doctor, and it's a deck that is going to span that entire period, whereby we see all the adventures that went on, all the characters, and again, all the features. I'll flash a bunch of the cards up here. We still don't have the deck lists for any of these decks, so you're going to have to bear with me, but I will go through key dates at the end where you will see when we're going to know what is in each of these decks. But it definitely looks really cool. The third deck is called Paradox Power and is centered around the 12th and 13th Doctor. Now, there are obviously more Doctors planned, but they aren't going to be featured in these decks. There's been no stories about them as of yet. So you will see cards like these ones that will be showing you the stories that are from this time, and what the different characters and what they got up to. Again, for a lot of people, this could be the time they started watching Doctor Who, or even their favourite time. So this deck could be real special. Full deck lists will come, but for now, this looks like another cracking deck. And lastly, we have Masters of Evil. And this is a deck fully jam-packed of all of the baddies. You've got Daleks and Cybermen. You've got the Master, or Missy, who is clearly on the front here. And you've got going to have all the neat things you would expect. You can see the cards here. I mean, Exterminate as a card. I just need to play that card in a game and just shout it in my most terrible Dalek voice. But sometimes you just need to be the bad guy, and you just need to play the bad guy deck and try and defeat the Doctors. It would be dead fun. Definitely looks like another cool deck, and I'm pleased that they've done this, having the Doctors in their separate eras and then having a deck specifically designed, because a lot of the baddies have spanned across the whole time. You can't kind of separate them out into one of the other decks. So great to have a separate one. Looks really neat. So who are these Commander decks for? Well, most obviously, Commander players. If you're someone who loves Commander, you need to have every Commander card you can. You want to be up with the big releases. There are going to be 50 unique cards per deck that have never been printed before. And so that's 200 cards that potentially a couple of them could be dead powerful. Or you might be someone who just never played Magic before, thought about it, love Doctor Who, want to get into playing Magic. Maybe you've got some friends, family, associates that play Commander. This is a great way of getting into it. Buy a deck, maybe buy a couple, and go along, play it. It will be pre-built for you, so you should just be able to learn the rules, but play this deck straight away, which would be really, really cool. And it will be kind of thematic around Doctor Who. But the other people this is for is someone who just wants to collect all the Doctors. Maybe you just want one of all of the Doctors. You can just buy the 3 decks and you'll know, guaranteed, you're going to have all of the Doctors. They're not going to be flashy art styles like you could get in the collector packs. They're not going to have super crazy foils and TARDIS frames, but they're going to be guaranteed, which you just can't get from a pack. We'll know the deck list in advance, so if you're unsure and you want to be really careful, wait until we know what's in the deck, which will be, like I said, before they release, and buy the ones that have the cards in you want. You don't have to use them as decks, you don't have to care about all the other cards in the deck. As long as it's got enough value for you to buy that deck, great, go for it. So what are the important dates? Well, the previews are the first thing, and that is from the 3rd to the 6th of October. This is when we get to see all of the cards that are in the set and the Commander decks. We don't know how big the set versus the Commander decks will be, but I assume a lot of the set will be the cards in the Commander decks, and we'll also know what's in each of the Commander decks. So those 3 days different members of the Magic the Gathering and no doubt Doctor Who community will be sent these cards, images to release to the world so we can all see what they are. After that time, you'll have all the information available to know which product you think is best for you. And then the release is the 13th of October. So you've got a full week after all the cards have been released and you know exactly what they all are to make a decision, put your order in, go down to your local game shop and buy the thing you want. But you can't get them before the 13th of October, so bear that in mind. But on the 13th of October, hey, that's when it's all coming down to you. So super duper. Keep that date in mind. In summary then, we've got two different categories of products. We've got the real hardy collector, the must-have, the best, money no object, collector booster packs. I want the special frames, I want the shiny foils, I want David Tennant's face in that kind of quirky cartoon style. You're going to have to open a collector pack, you're going to have to buy those. You want the very slim chance of pulling a serialized card. Hey, they're the only way you're going to do it. And then we have the Commander decks. You want to play a game of Commander, you want to start playing Commander, or you just want to make sure you've definitely got the cards you want in those decks. That's the product for you. So, what do you think? Have we given you all the information you need? Was there something you wish you knew that we should have mentioned? What do you think of this set? Are you a Whovian that's never played Magic the Gathering before, never even heard of it, and all of a sudden there are these cool collectibles? Maybe you're a Magic the Gathering fan, never seen Doctor Who. Let's share some episodes in the comments below of how to start. What's your favourite? Where should I go and watch some? Because I've only seen a few episodes. And what other intellectual properties and franchises should Magic the Gathering be teaming up with? I'd love to know your thoughts, because at this stage, nothing's off the table. I hope you appreciated this video. We really enjoy sharing this kind of information with you and hopefully you find it useful. If you do, share it with your friends, share it with your communities, and like and subscribe. We would really appreciate that too. And you know what? We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.